This country's been kicked and pushed and shoved around by these tyrannical communists, I call them, that are in power. And it rolls downhill right to municipal, to provincial, to federal, and I had enough.
Oh, right there she is. Elliot. Right there. Hurry, that's Chrystia.
Chrystia! Yes? What the are you doing in Alberta? You traitorous bitch! Get the out of this province!
You don't belong here.
You're a traitor! You bitch!
Yeah, go ahead and hide.
All right, guys, you got a traitor in the elevator. Chrystia Freeland, I'm going.
This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. And by now, ladies and gentlemen, you have probably already seen the now viral video of the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, Chrystia Freeland, being yelled at as she entered an elevator in Alberta. And this has the whole internet just losing their mind. This has Twitter in particular all bent out of shape. There's even people there claiming that this was a violent assault, when clearly words are not violence, words are not assault. So I have no doubt the MSM is going to be all over this. They're going to try to twist this situation as an attack against speech. But this is why I wanted to give the PFT platform to the voice behind the video himself to be able to explain the situation. So joining me on the line right now is Elliot Mcdavid. Elliot Mcdavid, sir, thank you so much for taking the time today to break down what happened there. Now, this is clearly going viral right now. People all over Twitter are upset about this, and I want to talk about the moment that led to you confronting the Deputy Prime Minister in the elevator. But how did this all come about for you today? Did you hear she was in town, or how did this all start?
I heard maybe an hour before I walked into City Hall in Grand Prairie. I heard that she was in town, and they were doing a little bit of a do downtown. They got a bandstand set up, and it's a grand opening of a hospital that took 5 years longer to build than they said it was, and billions of dollars over budget. And that's why she's in town, I take it. And then I talked to somebody else at a business in Grand Prairie, and they said that the city of Grand Prairie was hosting her. And hey, I love the country and I love all people. I don't discriminate against anybody, what their vaccination status is, their color, their creed. I love everybody. This country's in trouble, and that's all there is to it. And so I heard about that, and I got upset that the city of Grand Prairie, what it did was it cemented in my mind exactly where the city of Grand Prairie is when it comes to the WEF and the globalist and tyranny. So I just went down to talk to somebody peacefully, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that she would have walked in the door a minute after. Because you've seen the video. The video was not doctored. I mean, she walked in the door probably a minute after we got there, and I had zero. I don't typically rehearse stuff anyway, but that's how I felt. And I typically don't swear a lot, but this country's been kicked and pushed and shoved around by these tyrannical communists, I call them, that are in power, and it rolls downhill right to municipal, to provincial, to federal, and I had enough.
Yeah.
So yes, I got excited and I swore a bit. I mean, but hey.
But I mean, she's a public servant. She's a public politician. This is kind of what comes with the territory now. And as you said, you love everybody. So I get the sense that this is not about sex or gender, has nothing to do with that, right? This is about a politician who's creating policies that's directly affecting people like yourself, right? And it really comes down to speaking truth to power. Correct me if I'm wrong.
100%. It affects every Canadian, whether they know it or not right now. And I think right now, I mean, people a long time ago, and I've been fighting this fight for 2.5 years since the pandemic started, and I mean, I'll continue to fight. I'll die on my 2 feet, and I'll stand tall for everybody else and everybody else's children. I have no children, but I'll fight. I'll sure as heck fight for yours. I'll tell you that. And I mean, that's what it boils down to. I mean, we can't sit around and listen to this stuff anymore. They're pushing their agenda further and further ahead. They got the billions of dollars to pay for it. We don't. We're going to fight. We're going to win with love and unity And that's where it's at, my friend.
You know, I put out a video a little bit earlier and I showed how it looked like on your public Facebook profile, it looked like you were in support of the Dutch farmers. Now, we just found out through the 2021 budget that Chrystia Freeland was involved with that they too are going to be cutting emissions by 30% by 2030. And this has a lot of Canadian farmers up in arms. Is this one of the reasons why you were upset with Chrystia Freeland moving forward? Because to me, that's entirely understandable.
That's one of the reasons, 100%. I know quite a few farmers. I spent 8 to 10. I think I probably spent 10 weeks down at Coots at the Montana border, and rallying the troops and stuff, and spreading the love. You know what I mean? And a lot of farmers down there were involved in that rally, let's say, at the southern border. And yes, I stand behind them. And it's got a lot to do with a lot of things. It's got to do with mandates and pushing an experimental jab. I mean, we could go on for a week about what they've done, the money they've pilfered and laundered and racketeered, and I mean, it's all out there for anybody to see if they open their eyes.
Well,
this is not a free country right now.
Yeah. Well, when you can have your bank account shut down by the Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland, for simply supporting the Freedom Convoy truckers, you know there's a serious problem here. You know, she used to be the Minister of Finance. She's moved on to the Deputy Prime Minister, and it's quite possible she may move on to even bigger positions moving forward, which is why we have to hold these tyrants accountable when they have the opportunity to do so. Now, how would you address this idea that people will say, you know, what you did was somehow violent or assault? Because I just think that's nonsense and ridiculous. Words are clearly not violence. What do you have to say to the people on Twitter who think you overdid it?
It's absolutely nonsense. I mean, I didn't overdo it. I mean, we all react to situations we're in, or you know, that situation kind of happened. I mean, I would have been a lot calmer, like I'm talking right now, to the city staff if there had been one there. I think them 3 guys that come out of the room, I think those were the guys that were higher ups that I wanted to talk to. And I know I had talked to one guy before, and that was a peaceful talk. We just served papers from the RC to the RCMP and the city and AHS, Alberta Health, that had to do with standalone BC.ca, or Stand United, sorry. Stand alone, yeah, that's not going to work. And that's why I was there before. And I mean, it had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Well, I know that some people are probably going to try to twist the whole situation. Have you been getting much contact from mainstream media outlets? Because it's gone quite viral, and I do believe it started on TikTok. Is that right?
It did, yeah. It did. I got contacted about probably an hour ago from a fella at Global, and he wasn't really. He was trying to push my buttons and trying to get me to say something, and that he maybe hoped I would say. And I don't roll like that. I speak the truth. I just, and he asked me about people that thought I went over the edge too, and they think I'm an idiot and name calling and all that. I said, no, that's not the way it is. I'm just a normal guy, man, that's very, very passionate about this country and will fight this tyranny to the end.
And rightly so, and I think what this shows too is that clearly we are not this fringe element of society that the Liberal Party wants to kind of project this movement, which it really is, as being. There's so many people out there who feel exactly like you do, and I would imagine would probably do a similar thing if given the opportunity. So, I mean, considering that there's such an attack on free speech, I mean, it does seem that this falls into that category because, as I said, she's a public servant. She's working for the people. You should have the ability to voice your displeasure with your own politicians, right? I mean, I assume you're a tax-paying citizen, you should be able to tell them off if you want to. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I mean, it'd be nice if she did work for the people. I mean, that's the exact opposite way. She's been bought and paid for and paid by the globalists. We don't need to get into her history or Trudeau's history or the Liberal Party's history or the NDP's history. I mean, they put people in place. They've appointed people. They've had decades to do it. And it's time it stopped. It's time the people wrote their own constitution and we take this country back, because we've had the ability to write a constitution since 1931. But of course, we're not told that stuff, right? You know, they want to keep rolling the way it's rolling under Crown power, and it works for them, and that's what they want. Now they want to quash us like a little bug that they want us to eat, you know?
Yeah. Well, I guess on the plus side, if there is one, this is waking up a great deal of Canadians as the true state of tyranny that we are all dealing with here. So I think that is the plus that can come out of this, and out of viral videos like this, is that more Canadians might realize, hey, I'm not the only one. There's more people who feel like I do in this country when it comes to these policies. So maybe in closing, you know, do you have any kind of advice for anybody who might come across a similar situation? You know, because I know in the moment it's hard to deal with, right? All of a sudden, bam, there she is. What do I say? So having the hindsight now of having gone through that, any thoughts on how you might want to do it again, or what anybody else should think moving into a situation like that?
The global guy asked me, he said, why didn't you just walk up to her very nicely and talk to her? I said, that lady does not need to be talked to nicely. I'm sorry. That was my reaction, and that's who I am. And I think anybody else, judging by the comments on all these pages, 99% of the people are with us, and they would have did it the same way. We got to expose this. We got to show some passion.
Yep.
For this once beautiful, there's still a beautiful country. Don't get me wrong. It's not lost, guys. We're gonna win this.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to stand up. We got to get passionate and let people know that we are there for them. And we're going to do our best.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, you know, this is why I wanted to have you on to express that. And, you know, it's not necessarily how I personally would have handled things, but at the same time, I 100% fully condone you, Elliot, doing this, because you know what? Tyrants should be yelled at in this day and age. So thank you, sir, for having the courage to be able to confront, you know, a politician of that magnitude who may someday be the Prime Minister of Canada. You may have just confronted right there. So, thank you for your courage on that.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, let's hope not. I know. So, well, if we continue to expose all the bad policies that she's putting forth, hopefully that won't happen. So, again, I just want to let you know I appreciate what you've brought into the table here today, and I hope that people understand where it's coming from, and that it's coming from a good place. And and we're just hoping for a better Canada moving forward. So.
I thank you too, sir, and Dan, and I appreciate it. And I just want to give the people a little bit of advice. I mean, if your little spidey senses tell you that there's something wrong, investigate it. And my closing comment is going to be, when has the government ever done or said anything that benefited us? And I love you guys all. Like I said, I don't pick sides, but I'll pick a side in this one. I'm with the people, all people.
Well said. And you know what? I think the people are going to be with you on this one as well, because they've had just about enough in this country. So once again, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll take care. Thank you again.
Thanks, my friend. Appreciate it, Dan. Thanks, buddy.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.